Larry Pratt joins us from the Gun Owners of America. Larry, thanks for joining us here at 5090 WCGO.
Glad we could put it together.
Tell us what's news at Gun Owners of America. I'm always getting news sweeping across my desk of things you're involved with, and I'd like to hear more about what you've got planned for CPAC.
We're going to be rubbing shoulders with the likes of Senator Cruz, and that, I think, will be kind of exciting for a number of people because the senator has continued to get a lot of buzz about whether or not he's going to be a candidate for the presidency in 2016. And lately, that's been shared by Governor Walker. But we've worked with Senator Cruz, so at least more close up at hand, we have some opportunity to assess the guy, and we're really pleased with what we have found. This is somebody that
Larry, we're crazy about Ted Cruz. I love Ted Cruz. I from what I can tell, not only is he brilliant, but he's totally constitutionally aware. He seems to be a man whose soul and spirit is just totally on track with notions of individual liberty, small business, everything we're reaching for here in Chicago. Larry, I don't know if you're the man to talk to about this. I know that you can't discuss these issues. You're a racist if you ask these questions if the candidate is a Democrat. You know, if it's a John McCain who might have been born in Panama, well, his diplomatic parents were stationed there, military, you know, you have to have a Senate hearing. The question is the natural-born citizen issue for Mr. Cruz. Do we know anything about that? That's the story inside the story. It keeps me from, putting
I think that needs
throwing
to be
glitter
addressed.
into the air. Yeah.
From what I gather, Senator Cruz has addressed it and is prepared to do so in the future. When he was born, there was a law on the federal books. It's no longer there, but since natural-born citizen does not have legal definition, it's not in the Constitution. It depends on the Congress to provide that definition. A definition was given by a federal law that was on the books at the time both our dear leader was born as well as Senator Cruz. And it said if there were, of the two parents, one of whom were a United States citizen, then that made the offspring a United States natural-born citizen. So I think the issue is pretty cut and dry for Ted Cruz.
That's very good. I'm also, I hope it works out. I'm disgusted that with the
Well, you also have the precedent of our dear leader, and frankly, since nobody has done anything to dislodge him on this grounds, it would be somewhat surprising they would succeed against Senator Cruz, who probably can handle himself even better than President Obama.
What's really stunning to me, Larry, is that we were given two bits of evidence. One is some kind of comment from a keeper of records in Hawaii, and we're supposed to take that as some kind of testimony. And the other one is a COLB, which was clearly forged and which was removed from the White House website after a few low-level Photoshop guys said, look, you can see how this is forged. You can see the layering.
Exactly.
And the White House pulled it, and we had no more explanation other than that you're a racist for asking. Well, I'm no more racist than the next guy, and I really was bothered by that. I felt as if it showed that there was a kind of imperialist, royal hubris.
The rules don't apply to me. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So there is a double standard, and the worst will be applied to Ted Cruz, in part because I like to think he has the power to unite. I'm very sad at what's happened with Ron Paul recently. I mean, listen to the guy recently. I'm not even going to waste your time with audio. But
no, I
as
think
a Ron
Cruz,
Paul supporter,
I was delighted to see how he held his guns, stuck to his guns when Senator McCain was doing what Senator McCain so often does, namely wearing an R on his sleeve and going and giving aid and comfort to the D's. And when he called Senator Cruz a wacko bird for wanting to get the uncontrolled federal budget under some control, and Cruz just went out on the floor the next day and took ownership of the word and said, well, if being a wacko bird means that I am for the defense of unborn life, if I'm for the defense of the Second Amendment and individuals' right to keep and bear arms, if I'm for, and then he went through basically a conservative litany of issues that constitute a definition of the Republican base. He said, well, then I'm a wacko bird. End of discussion.
If loving freedom is wrong, I don't want to be right. So, and he's a brilliant communicator. And I also believe I hate this for anything to be a love fest on Cruz. By the way, I'm really proud of what you're doing at GOA, and I want people to understand Larry Pratt's organization, Gun Owners of America, has two sort of words as its masthead or unofficial masthead, even if it's only my opinion. Their concept is rather as our old friend Larry, I hope our mutual friend Larry Zellman at the JPFO, now deceased, God bless his soul, is really a no-compromise approach. That we understand the Second Amendment to mean exactly what it says. The Founding Fathers were not stupid. They said exactly what they meant, and that's what the Second Amendment means. So you don't have to get into founding principles or anything. You just have to read it the way it is. Would you agree, Mr. Pratt?
Indeed. Our lamented late friend Aaron Zellman was very clear on this, and he also understood the implications for groups that are targeted by a tyrannically minded group of folks that are in power, whether it's the Nazis targeting Jews as the cause of all of Germany's problems, or Pol Pot's view that people with education were the cause of Cambodia's problem.
Or Larry, look today, we have 100-something Christians beheaded by ISIS, and the response for the White House is not to say never again. You remember after World War II, we said never again. How can these fascist SOBs not understand the basic logic and importance of the factual history that had it not been for the anti-human rights gun laws that were Hitler's gun laws that always precede a mass killing, these sorts of things wouldn't happen, and the takeover of a group of radical Mohammedan crazies wouldn't go very far, would it? Would be like Tojo said, we will not invade the United States of America because we'd have a gun under every tree and rock. But the Christians and the Jews and freedom-loving people everywhere always find themselves defenseless right after, in the name of safety, they give up their rights to defend themselves with firearms.
In fact, the Japanese concern about the armed American citizenry was not born out of reading some newspaper account or a history book, but it was born out of their experience following Pearl Harbor. They actually launched a land invasion in one of the Hawaiian Islands, and they were repulsed by an armed citizenry to their great consternation. Hey, this ain't like Japan, is it? No, sir, it is not like Japan. So,
well, Larry, I did something brilliant with only two minutes left. I have a marvelous talent for being smart by omission. I omitted to ask you about the 223 ammunition issue, about which I'm very interested because so many Americans are especially Chicagoans, are going for the first time to enjoy their Second Amendment freedoms, and they're saying, hey, you know what, that AR-15 M16 look-alike variant looks like it's a lot of fun to shoot, so they are now involved because this is their ammunition. These are their cartridges. But I brilliantly neglected to ask you about this earlier, which means that I will have to rebook you on the show here in Chicago to ask you particularly about that, because I'm really interested in your take. And also, I don't quite understand how you can put, if this is just purely willy-nilly, or what the nature of this White House maneuver is, and of course this of all times. It's remarkable how they just will never miss an opportunity, no matter how ridiculous, to steal freedom from the American people.
Well, let's revisit this by all means, because there's a very clear link back to Nazi Germany with this whole 223 ammo debate. Absolutely.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Excellent. I can't wait. Larry Pratt, ladies and gentlemen, is a great American and founder and president, I believe, if his title is president or CEO, of Gun Owners of America. And if you here in Chicago are just starting to enjoy your Second Amendment freedoms, or even if you're an old veteran shooter, join GOA. It is the no-compromise solution. Gun Owners of America. Look it up.